Have you ever found yourself caught in a spiral of negative thoughts? Perhaps you made a small mistake at work, and suddenly your mind leaped to conclusions. I'm terrible at my job, or everyone thinks I'm incompetent. Or maybe a friend didn't reply to your message right away, and you instantly assumed they were angry with you. These moments where our thoughts seem to take over and paint a picture far bleaker than reality are incredibly common. But what if you could learn to spot these unhelpful thought patterns as they happen? What if you could catch them in the act, understand their mechanics, and ultimately choose a different, more balanced perspective? Welcome. Today we're going to explore the fascinating and incredibly practical skill of identifying cognitive distortions in real time. This isn't about magical thinking or denying genuine challenges. It's about becoming a keen observer of your own mind, understanding the shortcuts it sometimes takes, and learning how to gently guide it back towards a more accurate and helpful view of the world. The journey begins with a fundamental concept from cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, cognitive distortions. Simply put, these are habitual, often inaccurate, ways of thinking that lead us to perceive situations more negatively than they objectively are. Think of them like mental filters, constantly sifting through our experiences and often highlighting only the flaws, the dangers, or the worst-case scenarios. These thoughts are typically automatic. They pop into our heads without conscious effort, almost like background noise, but they significantly influence how we feel and what we do. Dr. Beck, a pioneer in this field, first observed these patterns in his work with depressed patients in the 1960s. He realized that by helping people identify and challenge these distorted thoughts, they could profoundly improve their emotional well-being. Later, Dr. David D. Burns helped popularize these ideas, making them accessible to millions. When left unchallenged, these automatic, often negative thoughts can cast a long shadow over our mental health. They contribute to stress, anxiety, depression, erode our self-esteem, cloud our decision-making, and can even exacerbate existing conditions. The good news is, once we learn to see them, we gain immense power to change their impact. Now, let's look at some of the most common types of these mental shortcuts. As I describe them, you might find yourself nodding in recognition, perhaps even spotting some of your own recurring patterns. One very common distortion is all-or-nothing thinking. This is when we view situations in absolute extreme terms. There's no middle ground. Everything is either perfect or a complete failure, black or white. For instance, if you get a B- on an exam, you might tell yourself, "I'm a total failure," rather than acknowledging the hard work you put in or the areas where you did well. This perspective robs us of nuance and makes true progress feel impossible. Then there's catastrophizing. This is where we exaggerate the likelihood or severity of negative outcomes, always anticipating the worst. Your boss schedules an unexpected meeting, and your mind immediately jumps to, "I'm definitely going to be fired." A minor symptom appears, and you conclude it must be a life-threatening illness. It's like taking a small pebble and imagining it's an insurmountable boulder. Mental filtering, or negative filtering, means exclusively focusing on the negative aspects of a situation while ignoring any positives. You receive 5 glowing reviews at work, but one client mentions a minor suggestion for improvement. Your mind fixates solely on that one piece of constructive criticism, completely overlooking the widespread praise. This filter ensures that only the bad gets through, creating an unfairly bleak picture.
Closely related is discounting the positive. Here, you minimize or reject strengths, compliments, or achievements. Someone praises your hard work, and you think, "They're just being nice," or "It was nothing special." You achieved a difficult goal, but instantly tell yourself, "Anyone could have done that." This distortion prevents us from internalizing our successes and building a healthy sense of self-worth. Another significant one is jumping to conclusions. This involves making negative assumptions without sufficient evidence. It often takes 2 forms. Mind reading is assuming others are thinking negatively about you without any real basis. "My friend didn't text back. They must be annoyed with me." And fortune telling is arbitrarily predicting negative outcomes. "I know this presentation will go badly, even though I've prepared thoroughly." Emotional reasoning is believing something is true solely based on your feelings. "I feel anxious, therefore this situation is dangerous." "I feel like a failure, therefore I am a failure." While our feelings are always valid, they are not always facts, and this distortion can trick us into mistaking an emotion for objective reality. Should statements involve criticizing yourself or others with rigid rules and expectations. I should always be perfect. They must understand how I feel. These absolute demands create immense pressure and often lead to disappointment and guilt when reality inevitably falls short. So, how do we spot these elusive thoughts in real time? It requires consistent effort, but the techniques are straightforward. The foundational step is self-awareness and noticing thoughts. When you experience strong emotions like frustration, sadness, or anxiety, pause. Ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? What immediate thoughts popped into my head just before this feeling intensified? Becoming acutely aware of these distressing or automatic thoughts is the starting point. Many find journaling or thought records incredibly helpful. Regularly writing down specific situations, the thoughts that arose, and the feelings associated with them can reveal recurring patterns and common distortions over time. It's like gathering evidence from your own mind. Next, recognizing triggers. Pay close attention to the situations, people, or emotional states that frequently precede your distorted thinking. Does a specific type of feedback always lead to all or nothing thoughts? Does social media browsing trigger mind reading? Identifying your triggers helps you anticipate and even preempt these thoughts. Perhaps the most empowering technique is asking challenging questions, sometimes called Socratic questioning. Once you've identified a thought, gently interrogate it. Is there actual evidence to support this thought, or evidence against it? Is there another way I could look at this situation? What would I tell a close friend if they had this exact thought? How is this thought helping me right now? Or is it actually making me feel worse? This process isn't about forcing positivity. It's about critically examining the validity and utility of your thoughts. Once a distortion is identified and challenged, the next step, known as cognitive restructuring or reframing, involves actively considering more balanced perspectives, and over time, replacing those distorted thoughts with more realistic and helpful ones. It's a skill that strengthens with practice, like any muscle.
And sometimes, in our desire to challenge distortions, we might mistakenly feel like we're invalidating our own feelings. Remember, feelings are always valid, even if the thoughts that triggered them might be distorted. The goal isn't to deny your emotions, but to understand if the thoughts driving them are leading you astray. Ultimately, the ability to spot cognitive distortions in real time is a cornerstone of self-improvement and mental well-being. It's a powerful tool for mitigating stress, anxiety, and depression. While challenging, the techniques for identifying and reframing these thought patterns are crucial for fostering resilience and promoting psychological health. Start today. Begin by simply noticing. What are your automatic thoughts saying? Which filters might you be applying to your day? With patience and practice, you can learn to become the mindful observer of your own mind, giving yourself the power to choose thoughts that genuinely serve you rather than hinder you. It's a skill that empowers you to navigate the complexities of life with greater clarity, balance, and inner peace.